Ion's nights slowly became moments of reflection instead of moments of fear. After the night he surrendered everything to God, something deep inside him began to heal. He was still facing challenges, but the fear inside him no longer controlled his life. Still, every night brought new thoughts, memories, and worries trying to creep back into his heart. Yet each time he reminded himself, I am not fighting alone anymore. One evening, rain began to fall outside, tapping softly against his window. Ion sat quietly, listening. Rain had always made him feel lonely, but now it felt like a reminder that God washes away even the deepest burdens. He closed his eyes and breathed slowly. For a moment, an old fear returned. What if everything fell apart again? What if his mother's health declined? What if he lost the new job he had just received? The thoughts swirled like a storm. But instead of panicking, Ion folded his hands and whispered a prayer. God, I'm giving these worries to you. I can't carry them. Please carry me. As he prayed, he felt calm settling over him like a warm blanket. For the first time in his life, he understood that surrender wasn't weakness. It was trust. The next day, something unexpected happened. His mother smiled more than usual, telling him she felt stronger. The doctor said her recovery would take time, but she was improving. Ion felt a surge of hope, not because the situation changed instantly, but because he realized God was guiding every step, even in the smallest ways. At work, he found that his co-workers treated him differently. They noticed his calmness and steady attitude, asking how he managed to stay peaceful through everything. Ion simply smiled and said, I stopped trying to fight alone. People didn't understand what he meant, but they could see the change in him. His presence felt lighter, his words more comforting, his silence more meaningful. One night, as he walked home from work, he saw a young boy sitting alone on a bench, crying softly. Something pulled Ion toward him. He sat beside the boy and gently asked, What happened? The boy explained that he had lost his father and felt scared about the future. Ion placed a reassuring hand on the boy's shoulder, and in that moment he saw a reflection of himself, broken, afraid, and tired of carrying life's weight. He looked into the boy's eyes and said, I used to feel the same. I thought I had to fight every battle alone. But you don't have to. You can pray. You can ask God to stand with you. When you can't fight anymore, He will fight for you. The boy wiped his tears and listened carefully. Ion's voice wasn't loud, but it was steady, filled with a quiet strength he never had before. That night, after returning home, Ion felt grateful. He realized that God wasn't just healing him, He was using him. His pain had turned into a message of hope for others. His battles had become stories of faith. His darkest nights had become lessons for someone else's dawn. As days passed, Ion created a small journal where he wrote daily prayers. Each page was a conversation with God, some filled with gratitude, some with sorrow, some with questions he had no answers for. But every page ended the same way. God, I surrender. I trust you. And with each surrender, he felt lighter. One evening, his mother called him to sit beside her. She held his hand gently and said, You have changed, Ion. There is peace in your eyes that I've never seen before. He smiled softly and replied, Because I finally understood that fear is not mine to carry. God carries it for me. The nights continued to unfold in calmness. Instead of lying awake in anxiety, Ion found himself whispering prayers of gratitude. Instead of fearing tomorrow, he found himself believing that God was already there, preparing the way. He slept peacefully, not because everything was perfect, but because he knew he was protected. Weeks later, Ion received a call that changed everything. The company he worked for offered him an even better position, something he never expected. It wasn't just a promotion, it was a blessing that came at the perfect time. As he held the phone, tears filled his eyes. Thank you, God, he whispered, fully aware that this was not his strength or his luck. This was God fighting his battles quietly, powerfully, faithfully. That night, he walked out to the rooftop and looked up at the moon glowing softly in the sky. The air was cool, the world silent, and Ion felt a deep sense of connection to something bigger than himself. He closed his eyes and whispered, "I laid down every fear and you took over every battle." His heart felt full not of worry but of gratitude. As the season of his life continued to unfold, Ion learned a powerful truth. The moment he stopped wrestling with fear and started trusting God was the moment everything began to change. Life didn't become easier, but he became stronger. His faith grew deeper. His nights became peaceful, and his heart finally found rest. Every night before he fell asleep, he repeated the same words that had become the anthem of his life. "God, I place everything in your hands. Fight for me while I rest." With that prayer, he drifted into sleep, protected, peaceful, fearless, knowing that God was still working, still watching, still fighting for him.